Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. We're out here in nature, the dark night of the soul. What is the Shadowland? I've spoken a lot about merging with your shadow self. In our darkest moments, we become illuminated. Without the darkness, you would not be able to see the stars. Along my journey, life has moved me in so many directions. I have seen that the angels and demons are archetypes of ourselves. I have seen that it's about transcending the light and the darkness to become the empowered human. Moving past the duality of light and darkness, then you become complete. I've had to go through the metamorphosis. I call it the magic of the chrysalis. When the caterpillar is there in the cocoon, in the chrysalis, it is undergoing a deep transformation, a deep metamorphosis. It is becoming born again. Along my journey, I have had to let go of the idea of who I think I am. My name is Ralph Smart. Yes, in this 3D reality, but beyond that, I am an infinite being. I can't be defined. I can't be put in a box. To enter the Shadowland, we must get in touch with our emotions. We must allow every emotion to flow through us without judgment. Every thought to flow through us without judgment. It is, in essence, 100% acceptance of who we are. It is where we love ourselves. A lot of us, we ask ourselves, why are we drawn to the dark side? Why do so many people on the planet love negative music? Not everyone, but a large majority. This is because many of us in our everyday lives, we are suppressing how we feel and how we think. Therefore, when we hear a song which is coming across as negative, it is mirroring back something to us which is unresolved within ourselves. That is why we are gravitating towards that. Once you embrace your shadow side, then you feel 100% freedom. It happened to me along my journey. I have failed so many times, but there is no failure, only a process which is leading us to become the greatest versions of ourselves. I love to fail because I realize that failure and success are one and the same. The more we can transcend this duality, the more we can step into the flow. The shadow side is where we begin to see the hidden aspects of ourselves. It is where the hidden comes to light, where we can look at ourselves in the mirror. See if you can do it for 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. And then you begin to love yourself for who you are. It is bringing these suppressed feelings to the forefront, because for so long we have not been paying them any attention. That's why a lot of us, we explode, because we are holding in all of these emotions. The emotion stands for the energy in motion. Many of us, in search of the truth, seek the light. but the light can blind us from the truth. That's what I found along my journey. The Shadowland is where we begin to question reality. This was a time in my life, and is still a time in my life, where I begin to have the reality check. It is where we see that we are all connected in this universe. The biggest illusion ever created is of separation. We can only discover this in the Shadowland, because my oh my, there's so much distraction out there. Anywhere you turn, anywhere you look, someone is after your attention. And that is fine, but we have to ask ourselves, how is it assisting me in becoming the greatest version of myself? When I see what is happening on planet Earth, we have our subjective reality, but there is also a universal reality, as we are all connected. Many of us, we are desensitized on the planet. The Shadowland is where we become sensitive to our emotions. We become sensitive to our heart space. We begin to hear our inner oracle. A lot of people say, do you believe in God? For me, God is energy. God is movement. I am energy, I am movement. You are energy, you are movement. There is no separation. We are made from the same fabric as the universe. There is divine intelligence in operation, and it is super fantastic. The Shadowland is where we see there is no separation. The biggest illusion we have is separation. My race, my nationality, my gender, my religion. The Shadowland is where you get the wake-up call to see this is what is keeping us all divided on the planet. In essence, the Shadowland is where you integrate back to the wholeness of who you are. You become complete. I call the Shadowland the repair service. So you just go there when you need a fix. Many people say I am depressed. Depression is when you are in the chrysalis, and that can be a beautiful thing, because that will make you stronger in the long run. Right now, I see it is not about the light. It is not about the darkness. It is about transcending duality and becoming neutral. And that is what I have learned in the Shadowland. The Shadowland is where we let go of fear. The Shadowland is the training ground. This is where we test out our own power of alchemy, where we turn the lead into gold. This is symbolic of turning negative energy into positive energy, and then in turn developing a perfect homeostasis. It is the inner transformation which leads us to find the pearls that lie within, mining for diamonds. It is a beautiful time once we don't resist it. It is where we begin to look at the world in a whole new way, because we see much of what we have been told has been a lie. We are living in a world of infinite possibilities. infinite life forms, infinite creations. Therefore, so much opens to us. For a lot of us, this can be a scary time, because the Shadowland is all about expansion. It forces us to become greater. It forces us to change, because that is the magic of the chrysalis. You turn on the TV, the television, which tells lies to your vision. The Shadowland is where you begin to see through the distraction, the circus that planet Earth has become. The Shadowland, you may cry. I've cried a few times on my journey, just at the state of the planet. Because now you take 100% responsibility for your internal condition. You are no longer a victim. You take back your power and you feel illuminated. You feel magnificent. You feel powerful. The Shadowland is where you realize the importance of connecting with those who remind you who you are. You realize you can't do it alone, because we are all interdependent on one another. The Shadowland is where you stop blaming yourself. You realize that letting go of perfection is where perfection starts. It is where you can forgive yourself and you move forward. It is where you become present to every moment, where you begin to laugh and smile. For me, that is the Shadowland. And that is why when people talk of just love and light, that is amazing. But I always tell people, don't forget about the darkness. Darkness surrounds the whole universe. That is for a reason. Because in that darkness, you have frequencies we can't even perceive. That is why it is dark. So right now on the planet, it's about feeling free, feeling alive, smiling, and realizing that the Shadowland is only a training ground to help us become the greatest version of ourselves. It is only a place where we hibernate to become the true stars that we are. We are out here in nature. Let go of fear. Let love guide you, not fear. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace.